Based on your performance, these are a lot of job opportunities. You guys are gonna be there having direct reach and direct content. So as the class goes on, just figure out where your passion's at, figure out exactly what you wanna do, focus on that, obviously learn the overall aspects of events, entertainment, but figure out what you wanna do. We're not gonna put you in any lane that you don't wanna be in, but at the end of the day, all we ask for is for effort and for you guys to think big. The bigger you guys think, the easier it'll be for us to give you guys the resources to be able to go out there and do what you guys want to do. So with that kind of being said, I think what we'll do is we'll go into the next phase. For everybody who wasn't here last week, we're going to kind of just go around the room, ask you guys a couple questions, share with the group. Everybody else already kind of shared, and then we'll do a quick recap of what everybody shared last week, and then we'll go into planning some dope stuff.
Yeah, so if you weren't here last week, so everybody just say like your names so you can introduce yourself to each other. If you were here last week, you know the strengths thing, because we want to know what your strengths are too. I want to know, like, I know that you do video. Like, I know that Jay is very good with social media. he was Vine famous. Like, I know a couple of your guys' skill sets. So like, let us know like a strength that you guys have, and also for the people that weren't here last week, let us know what you expect from the class as well, because we're trying to cater to you guys as well. We're trying to build something together here. Now that you guys know each other and stuff, we wanted to kind of break down how the rest of the class is going to go, because these next 2 weeks, today and then next week as well, we're going to have to go through and pick what the actual event's going to be. We have a long semester of planning. So pardon? It's December 1st, our climax event, which is a Saturday, which is the week before. If you look on the calendar, it's like the week before finals week, so it's not like that Saturday of finals week, no one's going to come to an event like that, right? But it's also the week after Thanksgiving, so it's like a perfect little spot right there where I think like we can do something really amazing, get a lot of people out there. We're going to start to kind of like think about the elements that we need to be able to make this event happen, because each one of you guys next week are going to bring like a quick little 1 or 2 minute pitch of an event that you want to do. It could be a nonprofit event, could be a sporting event, could be like, oh, the Wings have like a great game that day, okay. It could be bring a concert here, we can buy talent. We have a lot of friends that buy talent. Yeah, we can like up to like 5 figures, we can throw, you know, maybe tens of thousands into getting that person if we can financially make it make sense. So we're gonna show you guys how to build spreadsheets and like proposals and everything that we need to be able to secure everything that we need to for the class, including media, including venue space, including logistics. Do we want party buses? Do we want Ubers? Do we get discount Uber codes? What kind of food do we have here? Do we even have food there? I don't know. Do we have a liquor sponsor? Do we have an energy drink sponsor? Like, these different kind of things we want to get you guys thinking about, because next week you guys are all going to come here with a pitch. So we really only have this class period to kind of like go over these kind of things. And how our partner David Martin, so David Martin, he is the person that we kind of linked up with from a girl, Madison Wayne. Some of you guys I'm sure know Madison. She's at school here as an undergrad. She's a senior. She's in KKG on campus in the sorority. And Madison's like, she's a stud. She's a killer. And she does like all the halftime shows for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And she does all these fan fests. She's bounced around to like the Yankees and the Boston Bruins and all these. I'm like, how do you do that? She's like, oh, the guy that I work with, he's a production, like owns a production company. This guy's like a theater major in his undergrad. He goes to Berkeley for the School of Music. Like, this guy's a genius. And what he does is he does all these big festival productions. Like, he could build like a festival stage that you would see at like Electric Forest or Coachella. Like, that's what his company does. So in doing that with David, we started to work a lot with him in production. So you guys have access to that as well. I'll let you guys know that too. And like the production stuff is crazy. This guy it's amazing. So you'll see this week at Prime for those people who are coming. So David told us, he's like, when I think about an event, I like to kind of reverse engineer things. So this is how we're gonna start doing the events, right? We're gonna reverse engineer the events, and then we're gonna break it down to first principles. What we need to do is we're gonna reverse engineer, right? Are you guys familiar with reverse engineering something? Yes? Okay, so we're gonna reverse engineer it. Engineer. And then we're gonna break things down to first principles. So this is how it is. Hey, I wanna create a music festival, okay? So if I'm gonna create a music festival, where's it gonna be at? California. Where at? Somewhere in the mountains. Okay, I'm thinking Coachella Valley now. Okay, there's a big valley here. This could be a great thing. Now where's the stage go? So now my idea starts a music festival and I build backwards from there until it gets up to like today I need to make a phone call. Like, so we're gonna go all the way steps back. So what David says is he's like, whenever I'm thinking about something and I'm thinking about a big event, first thing I do is I think about the flyer. He's like, man, I really want it to be, if it's gonna be like a fiesta, I definitely want like balloons on the flyers. I definitely want like confetti on the flyers. What kind of font am I using? Is it the big bubbly poppy font? Is it like super sexy clean fonts? Like, what does the flyer look like? Because that's gonna be the first introduction that people hear about this. So we kind of do things the same way. We'll come up with an idea. We'll say, hey, we really wanna see what this looks like. For instance, the Rage Fest. So we knew we were able to secure main stage positioning on Saturday at Prime Music Festival because we've kind of been partnered up. TK's been working with Prime for a long time, Prime and Breakaway. They're like, hey, you guys can get a 45-minute slot. Okay, what are we gonna call it? Rage Fest. Okay, it's gotta be big, lights, everything. So we call Renell up, we're like, Renell, let's make this graphic. Okay, so then when Renell gets the graphic, now we build from there. So the reason that we brought him here, and we wanna introduce him as well, is because he is our creative genius to be able to develop these things. He can design better than we can in our brains, but when he starts to feed us stuff like this, now we're starting to create an atmosphere for the event. Okay, this flyer is great, but we wanna create one cohesive flow. Like, and our mentor Bill, he said this to us today, it's called the Disney magic effect, right? You go to Disney World and it's like everything at Disney World is the illusion of Disney, right? You got the Disney princesses here, you got Mickey Mouse walking around, the castles are huge, you go on the rides, everything's a cohesive environment, right? The characters feel like the rides ride, feels like the movies play out, feels like the castles look, everything else is creating an idea. So the same thing, we want our flyers to look like our videos play, to feel like the venue looks, to have an experience like when you get bottle service at our events, you get a different kind of bottle service, you're getting different vibes. Like, we want everything to be cohesive, and it all starts with this kind of stuff, which is amazing. Like, we were sitting here, like...
How many hours did we spend on this?
Hours. Why would it be down here as opposed to this? You have your rule of thirds,
like,
aesthetically, like...
So that's the thing that people don't understand is when something is created, right? When you see a flyer, have you ever seen, like, let's say, for example, when Rix makes a flyer, and you're like, what was the point of making that flyer? It doesn't get you excited to go. We literally spent, just for this flyer alone, just so you guys know, we were on FaceTime for 8 hours just to create this. Like, this is the first part. It's like, this is the marketing tool that everyone's gonna see. I remember even just this bottom part, figuring out where we wanted to put main stage, the sizing of main stage,
right? Getting
everything to actually like read down. Why the at sign instead of at? Why, you know, the university bio went with the presents. First, before we had these lines, it was kind of too compact, but then the line made it make sense when you're reading it. The information without the lines down there was too compact as well. Like, this literally took hours and hours and hours on end. But that's where you're having a good team and somebody on your creative side who can now tell you, when we got to hour 8, I was literally hitting up Renell for like 3 more hours on the bottom portion. He's like, bro, you're overthinking it. Like, it makes sense. So just all those little things that people don't really think about, you gotta understand the flyer is 50% of your battle. If people can't look at the flyer or look at your presentation and say, hey, I wanna be there, why would they make a decision and now cancel either the plan they probably already have in advance or spend the money if it doesn't look like something they want to spend the money on? So when it comes to the Rage Fest, just to give you guys an example, thinking also long term, we actually had our first Rage Fest was in Lauderdale 6 months ago. So you see how 6 months ago I already had the idea of making the Rage Fest a brand, but the idea was, okay, we did it first in Lauderdale. We had the Rage Fest, but it was already reverse engineered to actually have it where the Rage Fest would be when we take over a venue or we take over a portion of the concert, like a brand so now that event in itself is an event inside an event. So being able to reverse engineer it where when we first made this graphic, it's like, all right, well, let's make the graphic for something that we can use in the future. And then now when the opportunity came to do Prime, we already had the branding and everything ready. And then now it starts becoming, you know, an event inside the event. So it's being able to think back and as you're doing things, not just think of what you're doing right now, but be able to reverse engineer it. It's all right, where do you want is this a branch of event that you want to, you know, franchise? Do you want to take this and do it multiple events? Or is it just a one-time event that you don't really care for? So just kind of some things to think about as you guys are, you know, thinking about how you want to market and do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well then, and just kind of get you in the headspace of thinking about this stuff because I'm not a graphic designer. So you mentioned Photoshop and stuff. Like, I'm a video editor. I was a video major here, and I'm a music producer. So I can work a lot in Ableton Live, and a lot in Adobe Premiere. But when it comes to Photoshop and like still imagery, it's not my forte. I get aesthetically how it works, but maybe even if that's not what you guys understand, maybe if you're not coming from a creative background, maybe if you're veterinarian and like it's not really thinking about that stuff. We wanted to bring Renell here. We flew him out from Hollywood. For this week to kind of work on it. We have a lot of stuff to do. We're building sponsorship decks. Like we said, we're trying to secure those 6-figure sponsorships. They need crispy things they can look at. When you come to an investor, I promise you this. I was working in Hollywood. I promise you this. When you come to an investor with super crispy proposals and stuff like that, it helps your case a lot. When you have a really nice looking deck and things that you've really been thinking about and you have a whole entire business plan behind it, the person sitting in front of you that's like do I give this other person hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money, perhaps millions of dollars of my own money? Everything needs to be high and tight. So the aesthetics are super crucial with that too. So in doing that and bringing out Renell, we were like, dude, you should definitely come and speak to our class and kind of like get them in the headspace of like what you're thinking of when you're kind of making these kind of flyers and why you make the choices, why these kind of colors, why these kind of graphics in the background, like why this kind of placement, like what are you trying to say with the language of the flyer and stuff like that too. So I'm gonna let Renell introduce himself. We've been working together since what, 2015, 14, 15? Is that when you found him?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
14.
But we just met him what? Did you meet him at spring break for the first time? Like in real life?
Met him at spring break for the
It
first
was
time.
right before spring break.
How long have we been working together since then? Like almost 2 years or so?
Yeah, bro.
So we've been working together for almost 2 years before we met. But the funny part is, about 4 years ago, I made a post on Instagram. I was like looking for somebody who can do a graphic. I actually needed a last minute graphic made. And then I can't remember who it was.
It was Samantha.
Oh yeah, my friend Samantha tagged him in the post, and she was literally the first person to tag him, and I needed that graphic made that night. So I hit up Renell. He was African as well. I was African as a cool kid. We're both African. We started connecting, and ever since then, we literally been working together for 2 years before meeting each other. So that's crazy. Just think about the internet. Just think about the connections you can make. We didn't know each other for 2 years, and then we finally ended up meeting when I was in California prior to Fort Lauderdale. And when it comes to graphics or anything like that, literally, I don't go to anybody else other than Renell. This kid's a creative genius. He has a lot of goals and ambitions. You know, some people just see it as graphics and stuff right now, but once you guys get to know him, you guys can really get to see, you know, his full potential. So I'll pass it over to Renell, and you can take it from here, bro.
Cool. So my name's Renell. Nice to meet all of you guys. Originally from Malawi, and I moved out to LA probably like 2 years ago. So now I'm based there. Basically, I've been designing since like probably freshman year of high school. Went to Chicago for like a year at Columbia. Wasn't for me. So after that, I decided to pursue my like career and move to LA. So during that whole time, I've been blessed with the opportunity to work with like a lot of like artists like Uzi, Lil Yachty, Travis Scott, and just like many more. And I started out making pretty much like album covers for a bunch of artists. And from there, it turned into pretty much like tours and like stage setups and of course university viral. So this is just like some of the work that I have on the website. And most of these are like the album covers, single covers, things like that, of that nature. I also make like things from merchandise and books. This is one I actually did with Lil Yachty. And I teamed up with like a friend of mine as well who took pictures. And basically we sold these on his tour. So that was a pretty great experience because this is my first time like making a book. So it was dope. And this is one of my bigger projects with artist Timbaland. And basically that was his last tape cover. And he went on tour, so I got to have a chance to do like everything from his tour bus to all his billboards and stuff like that too. So yeah, pretty much that's really like introduction to my work and like what I do, but it ranges anywhere from logo and branding. And as they say, like everything with the University Viral from logo and branding and stuff is very important. I pay attention a lot to detail because I think about how the audience is gonna view it, and I like to bring a lot of emotion in my work. So to do that, I'd like tend to use a lot of colors and also just a sense of like surrealism as well, just to give like people their own imagination of what each piece means and just things like that. The first place it goes to is really like the logo, the main logo. So example, Rage Fest. Of course, when we're making the flyer, he's like, yo, he always points out like, this is something I want to brand because again, it could be used later. So that's going to be the most important part, is that main logo of the flyer. And that's really what creates the base of your whole, design right there. Then after you make that logo, that's when I work on building everything around it to kind of complement the logo too. So that's really like where my first place goes into, like where my mind goes into when making the flyer. Yep.
So kind of like piggybacking on that, if you use like an album cover for like an artist or something,
Right.
do you get to like talk to the artist, or they just like
Yeah,
We want
of course.
this, like,
Yeah, so I start out with talking to the manager, of course, because that's like more of the important. He handles the like back end and stuff. Of course, we get to like talking ideas. Then I get to talk to the artists, work with them, and start figuring out like what they want and what they see in representing like their project or maybe even a single cover or so on. And from there on, it's just like an experience really. Whether we get together, probably take photos or whatever. So yeah.
Do you contract each job like a freelance job?
What was that?
Do you contract each different job like as a freelance job, or is it like?
Yeah, all my stuff is freelance. I basically want to stay freelance just because honestly, like when it comes to working with the company, they don't let you do other stuff. And I mean, without freelance, I wouldn't have been able to do like galleries and especially even work with some other artists because dealing with labels and stuff, and some people are competitive. So, of course, the information on the flyer, that's the main thing. I mean, most of the time I'm like, I try to help with, you know, putting the right information and stuff, but sometimes I ask people to like give me their information just so that it's like almost like they're talking from their company or brand voice, you know what I mean? So information helps. But other than that, like usually when people are struggling creatively, I usually tend to take that over. And I mean, I take the responsibility of at least leading the creative part of it and kind of taking that off the back of the person coming to me. Just so that, you know, sometimes if they like something that they never expected they'd like, you know, that's also a plus, because then they look at you as not only a designer, but also like someone that can brand and an idea creator, you know, so just, yeah, that's one of the things that I would say. But as for covers and stuff, I mean, most people that come to me will just let me just creatively take control, come to them with something. If they don't like anything, of course, we can go back and then talk about how they want to be represented in front of their audience, especially that it's being put out in the universe. So, yeah. I started reaching out to them at first. Like I was reaching out to like, again, managers, which is key. A lot of people tend to try to reach out to the artist first. I mean, it works, it's work, but you know, managers definitely, because it's business. And through that, like the first couple artists, from there it was word of mouth, and they just start reaching out to you, or like different managers start reaching out to you, and you get different placements that way.
So a couple key things, like, so start with the logo.
Yeah,
You might want to rebrand
start
it.
with the logo, because that's something that you probably will want to brand. Most important thing. Example, Rage Fest, Fort Lauderdale. You know, we made that logo. Took us long ways. So just really like keeps a consistency, like keeps consistent like looks, and just again, whenever people come to me, of course, I try to give them as much as I can, no matter how much they pay. I mean, not only is it something that helps them, but it sets a good impression on yourself as well, and is really professional. So one thing that makes me consider a project is really like how the person's thinking. I really like gravitate to people that have a long-term mindset, longevity, you know, rather than trying to make something just for that moment, but make something that builds into like some much larger in the future, you know what I mean? So ideas, I like when people come to me, not only like, yo, I want to make a cover, but more like, yo, like, I want to make a cover, but also something that can help brand me as an artist later down the future. And I really love people that come to me that I guess are building a brand through a meaning or something like more in depth, you know, with their projects and stuff like that. So ideas and just really mindset. If you're working for some like long term and want something branded, like I will definitely take it more seriously. And I feel like that is also gonna help me be able to be more passionate in whatever I create.
And do you have anything else that we should be thinking about while we're in this process, just like from a creative standpoint for like propaganda? Because I'm a big fan of media and propaganda. It speaks a lot for you when you're not there. Like right now, all your guys' social media profiles speak for you when you're not there. Everyone in this room is their own personal brand. If you have a Facebook profile, Instagram profile, Twitter profile, if you have any kind of profile at all, if you have an email, you're a personal brand and you have digital assets. So in managing your digital assets, like I see your website is super attractive. It seems like you have it's a really nicely designed website.
Yeah.
Obviously you have the scroll bar and stuff like that too. This also lends a lot to just your still imagery as well. Cause you're also a photographer too?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so when approaching these things, like just from like a more like abstract thing, instead of a specific like logo thing, what's the way that we should be approaching this creatively in terms of creating the media for our event and stuff like that? Like what's like a mindset? And
It's all about aesthetic, like
all about aesthetic,
consistent aesthetic.
Okay.
So, I mean, of course you want to always come with something new, different, but also, again, like building that base of your brand is very important as well. That way, when people see whatever you are putting out, they can recognize it from that style. So that goes into just really the aesthetic. Like you just always want people to know like, oh, that reminds me, or that is whatever your brand is.
So these are prompts. Every class, just for the people that weren't here last week, every class we're gonna have like a ditto. And the ditto is like, it's never gonna be more than like you're about to see right now. There's two purposes for it. One is to prompt you guys to think about some stuff. It's like it's little easy prompts on, okay, that's a cool way to start thinking about that specific thing. This is like a who, what, when, where, why. Oh, no, we don't pass that out yet, but we'll keep that for people. And then also, at the end of this class, we want to be able to give the university the syllabus, the lesson plan schedule, all the dittos that you guys have completed, the money for what we do at the end of this course, all these videos, a complete package that's like, boom. What more could you guys want from the university? Like this class built itself. So we're trying to just bring a lot of value to the university. So in doing this, you guys are helping again develop the course. So these, you don't have to do all this right now. This is something that you can kind of, these are like prompts. Where it says event type, theme, atmosphere, this is stuff that you're gonna creatively think. Some of you guys might be like, I would love to do a sporting event. Some of you guys think an entertainment event. I wanna get like an artist. Some of you guys are gonna think, I wanna do like maybe a nonprofit or any different kind of event types, theme. What's the theme? Like, is it like a party vibe? Is it a professional vibe? Is it business? Is it business casual? Is it like, hey, it's a beach party, we're gonna get a venue inside and in shorts? Like, you should think about the theme too, atmosphere. What's the vibe of this place? Is it super chill? Is it super lively? Is it a lot of energy? Is it more ambient? Is it more laid back? And then you have the who, what, when, where, why. Who's my primary market? I want college students, 18 to 22. Maybe primary market's Greek life. Maybe that's a specific college market I know I can tap into. Maybe it's the athletic department. Maybe your primary market is gonna be young professionals. Maybe your primary market is college and your secondary market is young professionals. Maybe your primary market is college and your secondary market is the local community. Like, so think about stuff like that. The what kind of event do you want? Like, I want to, again, that kind of goes back to the other three too, but the when, obviously that's in December. We're gonna do that in December. Why is gonna be in December? Again, that perfect fitting time. It just makes sense that way. Where? Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids, a lot of good venues. You have the Bob, you have the Eve up in Grand Rapids, you have 350 Terrace, the Annex, Phil Caesars Arena down in Detroit. You have Rick's, Harper's, you have the Breslin, which we can get. We can get the Breslin if we put it up there. They give Breslin a Greek life every year. If we say, hey, we're about to generate tens of thousands of dollars for the university, could we get the Breslin for free for the students? Possibility. If we get Fairchild Auditorium, it fits 5,000 people. Go ahead, Michael.
Group brainstorming, go.
Start talking. Boom, boom, yeah, that's it.
We got the groups splitting up. We got the students splitting up in different groups, discussing how they want to do the climax event for the end of the semester. This way that, nobody gets overshadowed, nobody can really just over talk anybody else, and then they can kind of start bonding in separate groups that just aren't their normal friends that we're sitting with. So we broke it down, made everybody count out to number 1 to 4, and these are the groups that we have over here. So let's see what these cats are talking about. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Hey, where's group 1? Where's group 1? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have each group. You guys can just literally bring your chairs up. If you guys want to stand, you can stand, whatever you're comfortable with. Just come up to the front of the classroom, kind of go over your ideas, what you guys had in mind, and then you guys each, we'll say you each have 3 minutes. So you guys each have 3 minutes. I'm gonna put a timer on. 3 minutes, just discuss what you guys have in mind. Open floor till they're done. We'll let every group come up, and then once everyone's done, we'll kind of go over everything. We'll choose the obviouses. Okay, obviously we all agree on this. Obviously, we all agree on that. And all of the obviouses are still up to renegotiation. If you guys come back next week, let's say somebody has an amazing vision when they go home and that becomes the chosen thing, we can come back and change it. But We'll let each group go up. We'll come back, choose the obviouses, discuss it, break. You guys can go back home, think about some things, and then we'll go from there. So group one.
All right. Okay. So we really are trying to play on this idea. We're like, oh my God, it's cold outside, like, and this like heat at the same time. So that's kind of the vibe. It's like this, without being fire and ice, like this kind of inferno while there's snow right there. Yeah. So we had some different ideas for like where it should take place. I'll let you say yours first.
So I personally think it should take place at the Lincoln Center. There's a capacity of 6,000 people on like the main floor, but you can get like with a stage, you can probably get like 5,000 people in there. But they have this whole downstairs area where people put like vendors and like different little shops and stuff for people to go to and like food and all that stuff. And then upstairs would be like the main concert area and like where all the big pop and stuff is happening. And then I was thinking like the fire, we could get like fire hookers and stuff and we could spend like fire and all that stuff.
Yeah. Right. So my like place is a little bit different. I was thinking about doing, if you want to pass my laptop around there, I found these like see-through tents, and it's like not just like they're bigger, like they're not small, but we can have like multiple ones. So we can have like silent disco, like we were talking about, in one tent. We could have like, but we could have one tent that's like very like much bigger than the rest, or we can have our main performer and like everyone comes there at the end. But that way there's like a variety of things. There's some that are just like a more low key, or maybe just a DJ, and more like a bar scene, like a 350 scene, and you know, change the vibes around.
I think that like with the tents, like we want to do it an all-day thing building up to the event. And if we do it at the President Center, we can sell proceeds, or we can give some of our proceeds to charity, make it sexual assault, because that's a big problem on campus right now. And that allows us to get to the President Center for free, and it gives good press to Michigan State without them doing anything at all. There's no reason for them not to give us the stadium if we give them good press like that. And that's the press that they need right now. Yeah.
And if we did that, we would do a pre-game party at Club Rush.
Or after party.
Or after party, yeah.
We have party doors. And we were talking to a little bit about the vibe. Like we didn't want it to be like just straight up a concert. Like, has anyone who's been to 350? So you know how it's more like, it's like a bar, but it's more like open, like more like chill. Like there's dancing and like, but you also be drinking over here. Like we want it to be a concert, but not just like, oh, let's all go huddle up on the stage. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of like a mixture of 350 and a concert where like, yeah, some of the time there's like, oh yeah, clearly this one guy's really big, we're gonna watch him. But also there's like drinking and there's like dancing and like, it's not just like, let's all stand by the stage.
And we're over the word festival, or fest, so we're not using that. And our primary market is like college students age 18 to 23, and our secondary market is
uncollege 18 to 23.
Yeah.
I think we got a big enough name that we could actually attract people from Grand Valley, Michigan,
Right.
Saginaw. Migos comes to perform with us. I would travel to Grand
But on that point, we gotta start getting the hype up soon. Pre-sales. We gotta start getting it on social. We gotta get website up. We gotta do stuff like that.
That's it. So we don't have ideas for artists yet, but
We're thinking
Wait,
like
wait.
right now.
15 seconds, closing statements, ready, go.
So this hot and cold, like the summer and the winter, like, yeah, it's cold outside. You don't want to be all snuggled the whole time. Like we're thinking this like icy inferno scene.
yeah, and with decorating it, we can make it happen.
All right, group two, you're on the stage. Let me get your timers going. Let me get your timers going. Ready, set, you're on the clock.
Alright, well, we had a similar idea, I guess, as far as the igloo type things, where we have like an igloo looking tent, but we wanted to do it somewhere off campus. We thought of possibly the field, something that has an open area, where it'd be almost, it'd be almost like a pre-game type event. We'll have different igloos, we're thinking like different DJs in each igloo, different genre, maybe like an EDM igloo, a hip hop igloo, everything like that.
Like different alcohol sponsors too.
Yeah.
Nice to like have the bars and thunder.
And similar to group one, it's all leading up to a bigger event at the end. We were thinking like the President Center. We can have a big artist there.
And like, we thought of a name, like our name would be like Below Zero, something like that. Like that would be pretty cool. Like, you know, it's cold, but like it's a pretty cool kind of thing.
American ice.
Like icy, yeah. Hey.
outside because like it's so cold outside. But the idea is like because it's going to be kind of cold to keep it remotely contained. We're just struggling with where to put the igloos because we can't like drink on campus.
A lot of like fields.
We could probably do it in this.
Excuse me, we're also.
We're still like trying to stay close to residents, like close on campus, and trying to get students to know like because the students aren't going to drink it so common, like it's all happening in the schools. Just to see a headline data, like
Hey guys, this is a tough one.
Hey, group 2 has the floor. Group 2 has the floor. I'm gonna give you guys 45 more seconds.
yeah, just to see like a headline name of a school like this will bring kids, I'm sure, from other like state schools.
Yes. And we actually have a great opportunity because we could be like one of the first people to bring T really back to Michigan State. So, how to do it, but we can do that.
And like with like primary market would definitely be like students 18 to 23 and also from other universities too. So like we don't want to actually we'll do 18 and up because we don't want to put restrictions on who can come.
25.
Yeah, but like we don't want to put restrictions on who could possibly come to the event. So
Professor Donahue is gonna pull up.
Everyone's everyone's going to
yeah, exactly. Like
We got that wintry vibe, like you said, below zero. That'll be like the theme of it. And what did it say? Wintry vibe.
Winter vibes.
And just
Like
one thing.
fur coats, puffer stuff.
And just one thing that I'm thinking about too, a good thing you guys just said about when you guys were talking about anybody being welcome. This is one thing I didn't think about until now, but also thinking about the people who are going to be able to help you guys push this going forward are like alumni with a lot of influence. And just maybe figuring out a way to involve them. Maybe it's a section for them, you guys have more time. Maybe it's something for them. But remember, if they see you guys actually put this thing together and they're like, what the heck is this? Those are the people who are going to cut the checks. And you guys are just saying, you know, being opening to everybody, maybe just brainstorming, not right now, but like other ways to involve those type of people so they can see that vote.
They'll get their personal on it.
Gang.
So basically the theme is icy. We got on the list.
Alright, so we can get Gucci, but it's always late, so we're not about that yet. We can get like a few people like Bozzy, he's from Michigan, you got Danny Brown, he's from Michigan, Eminem, but you know, he's English public. Grizz, you know, that Grizzmas, so he's a big thing.
Yeah, basically like just rap and EDM, we think we should mix it too, because then I feel like more people know.
We were thinking about where prime is because we wanted to keep it all outdoor. We were kind of gonna compare it to like Snow Globe Music Festival or the ones in Canada that have like igloos, just like Group 2 said, kind of similar to theirs. A lot of igloos and vendors inside them, and like people can dress like this, wearing like furs and then like neon colors and stuff, just like snow ghosts.
Oh, that's lit. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
It's like a frozen Burning Man.
We can still do the igloos outside, like we could have sponsorships like in the igloos, we can like drinks, like all that stuff.
Probably like one huge main stage and then like igloos with smaller people, like they said, outside of it because it's a big field. And then age range, same thing, 18 and up.
No.
Alright, for our group, it was kind of like the same thing as 2 and 3. Like, we like the igloo theme, and like, we want to have it outside, like different themes, like a main stage and stuff. And what she said, we had an idea, like, there's an after party at Club Rush, but it's like winter theme. Like, when you walk in, it's like blue and like white lights, and like I don't know, it was like paper snowflakes, stuff like that. But like, you walk in, and like, you have like that vibe. I mean, it's been going all day, and like, everyone is wanting like an all-day thing.
Yeah,
So
our best idea is to like embrace the winter. We could look at it. Like this is whole theme that would like attract everyone, and then rather than be cold and miserable, it would just be fun.
Yeah.
I like the feel, like where it's at prime, having the igloos and then having like the main stage, and then maybe having like heaters or whatever out there, like around the field.
yeah, and
But,
like, it'd be fun.
like in different, like silent disco, like in igloo, like just different vibes.
Cause like there's not much going on in the winter, so like we got everyone to go to this event. It could be like prime .2, but like in the winter, like it's just more like, and like what she said, like make sure everyone knows that like you wear like warm stuff. So it's not like, oh my god, we're gonna freeze. Like we don't want to ski goggles, like whatever you want. Like just make it fun. Like I think we'll use it. Yeah.
Make winter great. Make winter great.
Oh yeah, we have the same thing as that.
Nice blue hats and everything, man.
I said like your name blows here. I mean,
Outdoor thing.
Outdoor, yeah.
You guys can have video lessons too.
Like my friend group, like I'm sure everyone else's friend group would be down. Like everyone's just wanting to go out.
I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. It sounds hard.
Especially if we have these heated tents around too, it's like, yeah, it's cold. You get too cold, you go outside and you drink more.
Hey, shout out to y'all. So clearly there's some things that we're all agreeing on, a lot of things that we're all agreeing on. I like the vibe. And by the way too, I know a lot of you guys weren't here at the first class, but the goal is to, like we said, we want to make sure that this is obviously the biggest class. So in the future, you guys are more than welcome to take snaps, share it with your friends. You want your friends to obviously see that this is different than what you guys are doing. Show your friends that you guys are actually enjoying the class and things like that. So we're literally going to be like 2 more minutes and then we're out.
And then also, hey, who doesn't have tickets to Prime for this weekend? Who does not? Does not have tickets to Prime?
Whoever does not have them, find me and him right after class. We gave everybody else last week a ticket. We just don't have our hard copies on us, so we'll put you guys on the guest list.
Your homework is to come get lit at Prime this weekend so we can see what's going on.
I can tell you prior to you coming to class.
What? Yeah, so guys, so real quick before we go, all these sheets, if you need like another one, go home and kind of like do some research this week and kind of like fill this out more of like what you guys think. And specifically what you want too. Like say the whole class, like some of you guys are in Greek life, your hoop could be like Greek life. I want the Greeks to come to this. Like I have in, some of you guys are in other clubs, this club or this like ethnic group, you know, like I know Anna is in with like Hispanic groups and stuff like that. Like you guys can go target specific people within the broad university, right? So target people that way. I'll fill these out and we'll have more details next week.